As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Well, hell. I am back and I've come with videos, and this one is the best of 2022. Originally, I wanted to do like a best of 15, best of 20, top 10, whatever. But you know what? I have a life. There's too much time in the world. I enjoy my time. I value it. But I'm like, you know, I gotta give you all something because it's been almost 2 whole months and it was never like that. It was never like that. And until now, life happens, but it's okay. We got through it all. So now I'm gonna give you a top 5 with an honorable mention of my favorite metal albums of 2022. That's not to say that there was only 5 good albums. That's not true. There's plenty of them. You had Black Manic killing it with Body Prophecy, Revocation with Nether Heaven. You had Obscene killing it with From Dead Harvest to Dead Harvest. There's so many good albums, so many of them, and I hate leaving some out, but I had to do a top 5 and something has to give, so I chose a top 5 with a little honorable mention. So let's get to the honorable mention to get things out of the way.
We must remain in sins of secrecy, leaving a stain.
So let's talk about the honorable mention that is Midnight with their 5th album titled Let There Be Witchery. You know, tradition, 6 syllables, let there be witchery. William Lacey continuing to do all the amazing art as he usually does. Athenar continuing to basically be the main songwriter of the band as per usual. It's Midnight as you know him, as you love him. Sleazy, punky, filthy, rock and roll, and of course you got the punk fueled Snake Obsession, the made for arena rock level sounding huge greatness of More Torment, and they had those ice cold chills of Telepathic Nightmare. This is a absolutely freaking great album from Midnight, like all their other albums before them. This is another great one to the catalog. They don't have a bad one in the catalog. It's their sound as you know and love it, with a little, little nudge of a little slight difference there, just to differentiate between all of them. But it's still them. You know it's Athenar, and you absolutely love it, just like you like Satanic Royalty, like you like No Mercy for Mayhem, like all the other ones in between. Check it out and go buy it. And straight out of Chile comes death metal giants Suppression with The Sorrow of Soul Through Flesh. Paulo Girardi made absolutely masterful artwork for this album, and boy does this bring back to the glory days of when death was full-on death metal. You had early Pestilence thrown in there too in the mix, and it talks about the horrors and death because it's death metal, and it's brutal. It punches you in the face. It shoves light bulbs down your throats. It is out to brutalize you and hurt you, punch you, and destroy the shit out of you. This album is relentless, whether it's lifelessness or monochromatic chambers. Oh, you're gonna feel this one. Misunderstanding Reality. All these songs just fucking hit you and they beat you until your face is black completely. You're like, this thing will take you with every inch of your life and you will love it. Look into this album, buy this CD, buy the vinyl, support this great death metal band out of Chile now.
No days, the same old story, the same, again and again.
I did a review earlier on Critical Defiance's No Life Forms, and I raved about it, ranted about it, absolutely fell in love with it. The band saw the review, much like Suppression before them, and they were all about it too. You know what? I still love this album. If I had to really describe this album short, because I already did a lot of the describing earlier this year, I would have to say it's fast and faster, and much like Suppression before them, they are filled with such a juicy bass tone that would make a fucking entire orgy ejaculate to shit. Listen to this album because it is just on a speed level of its own. It's a speed rush and it's under a half hour. It decks you in the face much like a Slayer or Dark Angel album should. Listen to these guys, and it's another Chilean band absolutely killing it, and it's a thrash metal band do it. Listen to this album, buy this shit. It's so damn good. I can feel the ooze of thrash just coming out of its greatness. Buy this album now. 23 albums. Are you kidding me? Overkill haven't even made that many albums. Motorhead has maybe made as many full-length original material albums. But Saxon are on their 23rd studio album titled Carpe Diem. And holy shit, do these Brits still got it. Biff Byford's vocals still sound great. And people are going to say what they will, but Andy Sneap and the production all sound the same. It still sounds like Saxon to me. And yeah, you could say maybe Andy Sneap just leaves all the controls the same for every band. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I don't really care because this album sounds damn good. And I am in love with it. You got the straight rockers like Carpe Diem, Seize the Day, Damn Busters. You even got your power ballads like The Pilgrimage. And you got Living on the Fast Life, Motorcycle, Riding in the Air, Wind Blowing songs like Living on the Limit. Oh man, this album has a wide array of what you would expect out of traditional heavy metal. And these guys still got the same way they did when they created Denim and Leather. I don't know how you could say you're a Saxon fan and still not be listening to modern Saxon. It's like saying you want to be wrong in life. So what the hell are you doing? Just buy the damn album, listen to it, rock out for 45 minutes. Plain and simple. Alright folks, we got 2 more albums to go. You saw Midnight Let There Be Witchery. You saw Suppression, The Sorrow of Soul Through Flesh at number 5. You had Critical Defiance, No Life Forms at number 4. You had Saxon Carpe Diem at number 3. We got 2 albums to go. You're like, who could they be? I'll tell you what, they're going to be 2 totally polar opposites within the metal confines. One is a heavy metal band, one is a death metal band. And they couldn't be lyrically more opposite of each other. Some people might even be a fucking pansy and be like, oh, Massachusetts. Fuck off. Now, if you don't like it just because you just don't like it, I don't care. That's great. That's fine. But if you're going to be a pansy about it, you don't want to watch the rest of this video. I stand by these 2 albums, both of them equally. One had to give to be the top one. So enjoy this video. And number 2 is Striper with The Final Battle. Now, to be fair, I truly don't think it is the final battle for Michael Sweet and company because these guys are virtuosos on the guitars as per usual. They have anthems. They have straight ballads like Near. They have straight rockers like Out, Up, and In. They have actual heavy metal mania with songs like Rise to the Call, Ashes to Ashes, Transgressor, and Michael Sweet's voice is just absolutely awesome. The bass is there, the drums is there, the guitars are there. You know, looking back at the time, I didn't notice the bass as much, but after several listens, I definitely do hear it, and it's definitely a lot more audible than I made it out to be in my initial review, but this album is absolutely scorching. And if you're gonna be one of those people who's gonna be a pansy and a little bitch just because it's talking about God and stuff, well, guess what? That sucks to fucking suck, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm gonna keep rocking out to this heavy metal greatness because I said what I said. It's heavy metal greatness. Do not compare this to trash like POD. Yeah, they may be friends with POD, but for me, I don't give a shit about POD. I give a shit about bands like Striper and the Judas Priests of the world. So listen to The Final Battle. Go to hell with the devil. And with those albums, go to this one because this is so good. It almost was number 1. It almost was. Striper absolutely knocked it out of the park. Whether you have Goddamn Evil or even The Devil Believes, this album is up there with Fall. This is up there with the best of the Striper catalog. Listen, this is like their 12th, 13th album. These guys still got it. Still got it. I already know not to say to buy some. Just fucking do it. And so you've seen me have fun with my honorable mentions. My 5, my 4, my 3, my 2. All my favorite albums of 2022 in the metal category because, well, that's dominantly what I listen to. I love movie soundtracks, I like other things, but I'm a metalhead first and foremost, and I refuse to water down that approach. So let's get to the number 1 album. This is the be-all, end-all for me. And I'm going to have some very, let's just say for the death metal fans, I'm going to have some divisive takes on this one in spite of how much I love it. So you are not ready for my divisive takes on this album. So for the death metal fans, this one is for you. And at number 1 is Autopsy with Morbidity Triumphant. This album has, of course, art from Wes Benscoter. I love with Wes's approach lately. It's more of the traditional style and not always the digital stuff. And of course, you got newest member on bass Greg Wilkinson. But even though there's a new member, you got similar artwork style, it's still the Autopsy you have come to know and love. It is very filthy, very doomy, has little glimpses and hopes of speed in there with maggots in the mirror and stab the brain. Then you got this really, really groovy riff with the voracious one. And they got Skin by Skin, which is the cream of the crop in the beautiful filth of the doomy aspect of this band. Now, what you know from the tortured screams and all the signature, like, nasty, grimy, filthy, sludgy production that is Autopsy. It's the Autopsy song that you know and love. They don't really change anything. If you knew them then you know them now. What's different is, well, not really much. Not really anything, even just besides a new personality on board, just doing what they do, business as usual. So I will say, though, this is going to be my hot take from this album. It is better than Severed Survival. I'm going to get so many people angry at that one, but I stand by it because I have listened to this album and I'm like, you know what? This is my second favorite Autopsy album. It doesn't hit Mental Funeral levels for me, but it does eclipse Severed Survival. I know all the Steve DiGiorgio bass player people are like, oh, what? No! Well, guess what? I stand by that shit. Second favorite Autopsy album. Favorite album of 2022. Even though it got close to being ousted by Stryper with the final bout. But that is my favorite albums of 2022. So I hope you check out at least one of these albums, if not all of them. If you like death metal, it's there. If you like thrash metal, you like traditional heavy metal, there's Saxon and Stryper there. There's a little bit of the Motorheady Venom stuff with Midnight. There's so much great shit that's out there, but that's what I enjoyed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you didn't, well, that sucks to suck. Anyways, have a great day, all, and I'll see you next year in 2023 when we talk about the new Obituary and when we talk about all the great stuff on Toxic Tuesday or the Comic Shop Talk on Friday night. Goodbye.